Hey everyone, welcome back. Den Mother Amanda, uh, doing another trans children series upload and video. And I want to wish everybody a happy New Year's Eve and a happy New Year's. And best of wishes and luck to everyone. And I really do mean to everyone. And hoping things turn out good for everybody. So, anyway, back to the topic. Medically transitioning children. Is it moral and is it ethical? A lot of people will say, yes, it is moral and it is ethical. Okay. And after doing research into it from multiple different places, even here in the States, and finding out what some of these medications do to children, especially Lupron, and what Lupron is also used for. Let's go say this. Lupron has been used for prepubescent puberty. Okay, and what that is it's a temporary use for the child to get a little bit closer to the age or to the age where they would normally, or closer to normally where they would go through puberty. Take them off so they will be able to go through puberty. It's also used for some cancers. Or most medical people in the trans medical field will not say is that Lupron and those like medications that do the same thing for blocking puberty are also used on convicted sex offenders. Okay, whether it be molesters, rapists, child rapists, child molesters, and everything else evil done to children and people. It is used on them to destroy their reproductive system and sex drive. Doctors know this. Okay. What I want to say too, before I get too much further into this, not all doctors do medical transition for children, and not all doctors do medical transition for anybody ever at all. And so a lot of doctors aren't trained in doing it, and that's okay. Not all doctors have to be. Okay. Now, we went over what these puberty blockers do, and doctors know what these puberty blockers do. It's medical malpractice and child abuse, pure and simple. That's all it is. Willful butchering and mutilation of children. What the doctors will do is they will instill fear into parents of gender questioning children. That do you want a dead child from suicide or do you want a trans child? Okay. Also, on the same token, medical gender therapists, most all gender therapists, if not all of them, are required to affirm that a child is or an adult is transgender or transsexual. No questions asked. No looking into finding out, hey, are there other issues or are there other problems that we need to deal with? That is not looked into at all. That is medical malpractice and child abuse. Because if you don't look into that, how do you know? I want to know, how do you know? How do you really know? Especially when it comes to a child who does not know. Who's historically children are gender confused. They're not sure. They may not be sure. They have whatever going on for whatever reason. They don't feel right about their gender. Okay, and how does anyone know whether they're going to be remain trans if they say they're trans? How do you know if they're not gay? They're not going to end up gay, lesbian, or bisexual, or gender nonconforming, or straight. That stuff is not found out for sure until the child goes through puberty long term. Long term. And we are not going to find this out even in ourselves until we go through puberty, and the discomfort that may come along with the puberty we go through is the way from the way we were born, whether it be male puberty or female puberty. Okay. When we were born, the sex we were born. Okay. It is not assigned sex or gender. It is what it is. People are born either male or female. It's not an assignment. It's not homework. I don't get to go home to find out. Am I male or am I female? Doesn't work that way, sorry. You either were born with the ability or potential ability, if going through puberty, to impregnate a female or not. I just said the ability or potential ability. If you were born male, if you were born female, same thing, but there's a difference. You either were born with the ability or potential ability to become pregnant. In the case of intersex, yes, that is an assignment. Assigned gender, sex, whatever, what have you, until they find out what the sex actually of the person is, of the born child is. Because there's still this thing called they have chromosomes. Okay, somewhere in utero it got confused and mixed up and come out with secondary characteristics of both sexes, however that may physically appear. Okay, a newborn child either has an XY or an XX or an XXY or XYX or X or whatever, what have you, however that way may work out. It is a medical, it is something that just happens for whatever reason in utero. Okay. Like I say, children, confused or not, when it comes to gender, should be afforded mental health therapy, proper mental health therapy, not affirmation therapy, where you don't ask questions, you don't do any research with the child and do a background with the child. Only pertains to the talking with the child and their family about this child's background. That's the loving, caring way to deal with it. And then then go accordingly to what may need to happen with this child, the particular child, excluding medical transition. No medical drugs for transition. Okay, the child needs antidepressants, anti-anxiety, things to be able to mentally cope with their issues that they're having surrounding their gender and getting through day-to-day life with therapy sessions where the child is given tools other than medication and surgical procedures to help them get through until they are in a place where they can make their own decisions on their own as an adult. Now, I want to ask everybody, You're willing, especially if you've been willing to medically transition a child, are you willing to let them drink alcohol? Are you willing to let them use tobacco? Are you willing to let them join the military? Are you willing to let them do anything an adult does? The only thing that comes close to that might be as drastic as letting them drink and maybe doing whatever they're going to do while they're drinking. And we know what kind of harm can come from drinking because people do drink and drive, whether it be an adult or a child, a minor, whatever vehicle they can get a hold of. I used to do that, drink and drive, and it's not good. I was a minor when I did it. I was an adult when I did it. It's not. It doesn't make it right. Okay, now we don't allow children to do those things. We don't allow them children to get tattoos. You don't let them get a tattoo, and you're going to let them do major medical changes to their body that are irreversible. What, are you out of your damn mind? Seriously? What is wrong with you? You won't let them get a tattoo, but you'll medically modify their body and take off body parts that will not come back ever. Seriously, take a look at that comparison for a minute and actually really think about it. You won't let them, oh my God, Lord, wow. Sickness in adults, holy crap. It's happening in New York. Are you out of your damn mind? You need to be in prison. You have no damn business in politics. If you're somebody that has supported this and brought it into laws to be able to let them do this, should not be allowed to barred from being the medical practice if you're medically transitioning children, whether it be medication, surgery, and or mental health therapy. It should be a crime. And I can't wait for Trump to get into office and do a national ban on the medical transition of children. Okay, and medically ban affirmation therapy because it is doing no justice. It is not helping anyone, whether it be a child or an adult, because it does not get to the root of the problem, the root of the issues. It does not help make the person's life better, even if it's just a little bit. We need to help these children, not butcher and mutilate these children. What happened to the ethical do no harm in the medical field, whether it be physical medical health or mental medical health? What happened to that Hippocratic oath of do no harm? When you damn well know you're doing harm, and you damn well know that Lupron causes the reproductive system to be destroyed. And romantic sexual desire to be destroyed. You're sick. You're twisted. You need help. Okay. A lot of you, I believe that you believe you're doing the right thing, even though you know that some of these medications are harming children. Especially when you know it's off label. whether it be given to a child or an adult. At least an adult has the capability to make the decision of whether they want to continue with it or not. Therefore, alleviating whatever, just be honest. And I get there's a difference between adults and minor children. We've gone through that puberty already, and don't need that particular medication like Lupron. It that needs to stop. And children being taken away from parents who don't want to transition or medically transition their child. It's happened in New York. What are you, barbaric? Judges are taking away children from parents who do not want to transition their child. Is it okay for that child to drink alcohol? The parent to let the child drink alcohol willfully and intentionally? Is it okay to give that child drugs, illicit drugs? That may or may not cause irreversible permanent damage? The same question goes to the medical field, whether it be physical medical field or mental medical health field. It's okay to do that. If the answer is no, then it's a no to medically transitioning children with irreversible medications and surgeries. And you cannot tell me that it does not happen, even if it is rare. It happens. There are girls that are getting double mastectomies at 15 and 16 and younger. Guess what? They don't grow back. They do not grow back. Any male child that has had a penile inversion for vaginoplasty, and guess what? It does. That won't grow back either. That surgery hole may close up if it's not done right after. If things aren't done right to keep it open after that, but the original body part will not come back ever. Lupron is not a pause in puberty. It does not pause it. It stops it. Stops it. Kaput, done, gone. History. Long-term use of puberty blockers. Longer than what would be used for prepubescent puberty. Prepubescent puberty is the only part of the medical use of Lupron and those like medications where it won't stop it because it's so short term. It won't affect the body. Why do you think it's short term? It's short term for a reason when it comes to prepubescent puberty. There's a reason for it, a legitimate medical reason, because long term use destroys the reproductive system in any sexual desire. Romantic sexual desire. Stops it, period. End of story. Yeah, and people are going to say, well, the sooner they can start or they don't have to go through that puberty, the better off it is they'll be able to assimilate into that gender role that they want to. Well, it's not going to be all that drastic to wait until the child is at least 18 years old. It is not going to be that drastic of a wait. It's not going to be that drastic if they wait that long. It's still going to be easier than when I did it. Yeah, granted, I did it later in life. I was at 48 when I started social, 50 when I started medical with cross-sex hormones. It's easier to do from 18 to early 20s. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, okay. Then the child is better capable to make those decisions when they get to that age of legal adulthood. And whether I think they should wait longer or not that doesn't matter. They're 18. They can do what they want if that's what they choose to want to do. And people once reached 18 or older have decided to medically detransition because it really wasn't the right thing for them. And a lot of that too can be brought back to affirmation therapy, where the only thing a medical therapist can do is, yep, they're trans. They said they're trans, they're trans. Doesn't make just because somebody says they are doesn't make it true. Doesn't make it the right thing to do. What needs to happen is in a loving, caring way through therapy. More than one, more than two, more than three, more than 6 months. Okay, I could be okay with them just going through therapy for a year before they start medical. I would much rather prefer to see two. I went through 2 years. A non-gender therapist. Okay, handled my case in a loving, compassionate way. And because of my gender dysphoria, gender identity disorder, and it's a disorder, mental disorder, it's a mental issue because it's not normal to medically want to medically transition and go through medical transition. It's not. Most of the population of the planet is not normal. I was convinced that, yeah, it's something I should actually go ahead and do. Really try to do. And noticed that it was helping me. I could have done it a year or so sooner, although I didn't. I did it when the time was right for me as an adult, not a child, as an adult. We need to give the children the love and compassion they deserve. Because there's a lot of things that I thought I wanted and wanted to do as a child that I was nuts. I was crazy thinking. We all have those thoughts and ideas as children. Doesn't make it right thing to do. Doesn't make it the thing that we should do either. I had a destructive drinking career. I drank as a minor behind my parents' backs. Wasn't the right thing to do. Okay. That caused issues for me later on in life. But we want to willfully put children through a medical transition that you know will cause them problems later on in life, and at times serious problems later on in life. From male to female, it makes that bottom surgery extremely difficult. Take a look at Jess Jennings. Watched a documentary on TLC channel. She had minimum of four bottom surgeries because she wasn't allowed to go through her puberty to get the tissue that she needed, the tissue growth that she needed to do to have that surgery done. Medical malpractice. That poor girl. And not only that, other mental health issues that she had that she may not have had to go through because of being put on Lupron. Other children that have gone through medical and mental health issues because they were put on this stuff and had this stuff done to them as children, as minor children. And the detransitioners. And the detransitioners that will never, ever be able to have their reproduce their own children, their own biological children, because of the medical procedures, will never be able to fully feel the romantic intimacy, the physical romantic intimacy, because of these drugs. Brain swelling from Lupron and the like drugs. Lower IQs. Stronger difficulty at learning. Brain swelling can cause temporary to permanent blindness. Will not allow the child to get the proper bone growth that they need to get, whether they're born female or male. They won't get the proper bone growth that they need to get if they were to be allowed to go through puberty. The destruction of their hormone, their system to be able to create their own hormones from with their own body. Permanent medication for life. No ifs, ands, or buts. Whether they stay trans or they detransition. Permanent medication for the rest of their lives. Does more harm than good. And some have even been known to actually self-offing rate and attempts. Some say have gone up being put on those medications. I can understand why, because of all the effects that it does to the brain as a child for long-term use. Also brain swelling. They know this. The medical field knows this. I want this to be available for those of us who actually need this stuff. The people of those of us who it will be good for. And we don't know that unless the person is allowed to go through their natural born puberty and be allowed to grow and develop the way their body was supposed to from birth. That will give them a better helping hand to help the medical field themselves and the medical field figure out maybe this very well might be the right way to go. or it may not be the right way to go. Most children decide not to go through the medical transition. Most. I've seen a lot of studies where the known percentages are 80% or above that decide after by going through puberty decide not to medically transition. Okay, and that's okay. Maybe their AGP or the form of that for females, maybe cross dressers, maybe gay, lesbian, or bisexual, or gender nonconforming, straight, heterosexual, whatever. Maybe there's something else may be the way for them to go. 80% or more when they're put on these medications as a child, a minor child, continue to go through it. And then when they go through this transition to medication and surgical, I believe it's more. I believe it's more than 1%. Probably anywhere from I believe it's probably 3 to 5%, somewhere around there. The detransition. I've seen too many detransitioners come out to believe that it's 1% or less. I don't believe that. So I don't believe the numbers are being taken and being accurate, being recorded, and then I don't think it's being accurately reported by those in the medical field. I believe it's being recorded and accurately given back to people, the public. Okay. Yeah. Start to get back to doing things the right way. Actually doing the right thing. And a medical transition for a minor child is not. Everybody knows it. We all know it. It's not the right thing to do. They deserve mental health therapy, absolutely, for sure. If they don't get the proper, and I mean proper, mental health therapy, that's child abuse. No affirmation therapy. Affirmation therapy is child abuse. Therapy that will productively try and do the best that they can to get the child through as they are until they reach an adult and can make those adult decisions for themselves. That's the way to go. I mentioned earlier in this video, antidepressants, anti-anxiety, and even if it's needed at times, maybe even consider inpatient. These are the things that we need to be looking at to help these children. And I'll do whatever is needed in that course of action. Sometimes mental health therapy is the only thing that will be needed. Sometimes you might need antidepressants. Sometimes you might need anti-anxiety. Sometimes you might need all three of them. Sometimes also an inpatient might be a good option also. Let the child grow up and make the decision as an adult, knowing that, hey, they're an adult, they have a better capability of knowing whether it's actually really is right for them or not. They have a better chance of knowing that. Like I said, I'm glad I didn't grow up in today's society as a minor child with this going on, the way I felt about myself as a minor child. Because a medical transition would have been the wrong thing for me. on so many levels. So many levels. Parents, rest assured that you can help your child get through this and get through as an adult and make those decisions as an adult. Reach out to other parents. Reach out to the LGBT community, the trans community. I would even be willing to help in whatever support I can to help the child get through. Because the child can get through to an adult without having to medically transition. It is possible. There's many of us who have. We know it's possible. Anyway, Happy New Year. I hope it's a great New Year's for everybody. I really do. No one told. Here's something else too. I want you all to know, no matter where your following is, then within this topic, you're important. You have value. You have worth. No one told you that they love you. I love you. God bless and have a great rest of the day. Happy New Year's. Bye for now.